Hello everyone, it's Sarah Oblak Spiker here, and today I want to talk to you about a topic that comes up a lot in conversations with my clients who are service providers, who are experts. And it's been a while since I spoke about this, especially in a format that I'm about to share with you today, which is more of a tutorial. So in particular, what I want to address today is how to expand capacities, in particular physical capacities as a business owner, so that you can serve your clients better, so that you can make a bigger difference with your team. And nonetheless, and probably most important, so you have more time and space and energy to spend with your family, with your kids. If you're a mom to little ones like myself, they are home right now, and we are facilitating homeschooling. So every minute that I get to spend with them is crucial, just as much as every moment I get to spend with my clients and my business is equally important. So what I'm going to share with you also comes from the experience that I've had when I was building my own virtual business management, online business management, consulting agency. Actually, when I first started out nearly a decade ago, the same principles apply. So without further ado, again, if you are a virtual assistant, online business manager, project manager, a writer, copywriter, designer, website builder, funnel designer, you know, when you're an expert who gets your hands in your client's business and is very hands-on in providing the services, this will be for you. So what I'm going to share with you is going to contain a lot of information. And I do trust that whatever resonates with you, you will take and apply to your business. And perhaps it just gives you a different perspective. It elevates some of the ideas. Maybe this video gives you permission to finally follow through on this nudge that you've been nursing for some time. And you're like, can I really do this? So let's go straight to it. The first step, the first stage, the first level I'm going to talk about is the hourly service. So if you are somebody who is trading dollars per hours, meaning that you are billing your clients based on the amount of time you invested in solving the problem or providing a service, this is the first level. This is the first step for you, and I want you to pay attention. The reason why I'm a big advocate about moving away from the hourly fees is because as you are improving your expertise, as you're getting better at what you do, as you are not just getting better at what you do, but as you become more proficient, you also become faster. It simply means that now all of a sudden the amount of time that you used to bill to perform a particular service is now getting shorter, meaning that you can bill for a lesser amount, meaning that you are literally punishing yourself for being so good, and now you have to bring in more clients. So maybe instead of working with 3 clients, now all of a sudden you have to work with 6 clients in order to earn the same amount. You know what I'm going? It's a hamster wheel. It is a downward spiral that leads directly to burnout and resentment, and mistakes are being made, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So what I would propose and really invite you to consider is taking a look at what is it you're doing and how are you performing those services, and what is the value of the services that you're providing, and see if you can package them and how you can package them in a project-based fee or monthly retainer. When I first started out, and I share this story quite some time, experience quite often, we started out as about $20 an hour because I simply thought, well, as somebody who's just starting out, even though I was not starting from scratch, when it comes to expertise, my perception was, well, I got to start at the beginning. I got to start somewhere. And I remember I was really nickel and dimed for every single dollar, because there was always, and that's actually another point that I wanted to make. I was attracting clients who were familiar with the industry standard of, well, if the service or if a package contains 5 hours, it's one fee. And then if it's 15 hours, it's going to be reduced fee. And for 25 hours, even more reduced. I did not want to subscribe to that for the same reasons mentioned above. It would be self-punishing in the long run. But what I quickly started to understand and notice is that there were patterns in the services that we were providing, and there were patterns in the value that we were providing. So we were able to package the complementary services in one package and then upgrading them and downgrading them. So we got pretty much 3 levels. We also did a lot of custom work. So packages were created custom based, but even in that scenario, we knew what the best scenario, what the best kind of combination of services would be for our clients, what would the minimum be in order to create the desired results. Because along the way, we had our brand to protect also, meaning that whatever we put out there had our name attached to it. So we wanted to make sure that the services we were providing were provided with integrity. And therefore, if the client requested less than what we knew was necessary, we would not sign up that particular client. We would not be a good match. So from there, we were able to go, like I said, from $20 an hour to $20,000 services we were providing with that particular approach. I also had a client who came to me, again, after 20 plus years in business. They also thought that they had to start at the beginning, and their services were really customized also as a consultant. And at the beginning, they were starting at I think it was like $150 an hour. And as we sat down, I helped them recognize the patterns, and I helped them recognize what the services that they were providing were, how to group them, and then also how to see the lifetime value of the services that we're providing, not just immediate value and immediate ROI for the clients of this particular client. So ultimately, what we were able to create was services that they were selling out for $15,000 per month in a retainer. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is I know from experience that as we have those conversations, as we're expanding and elevating ideas, oftentimes the first reaction is, but who's gonna pay me this much? But how do I package this? But my services are so unique. I hear you. And I'm telling you, there is a way. And I would invite you to consider that the initial response, the initial resistance that is coming up is the very reason that's holding you back from actually doing it. So explore that and see what's coming up for you and how to move past through it. The second level, the second layer is for those of you who are not working on your own, but already have teams, or you already know that you need to build a team around you. And I'm going to share with you something that enabled me as I was building up my agency, that enabled me to take 3 months paid off when my second daughter was born. In comparison, just to 2.5 years prior to that, I was working from a hospital bed, literally hours after delivering my first baby. Here I was able to take 3 months off, fully paid, while my clients were fully served. Of course, there are some hiccups, and I'm always open to talk to you in particular if you're interested in some particular lessons that I had learned from those hiccups, and I'm going to do a whole different training on that. But for today, for the container that we're speaking, what I want you to consider in case you're growing your team is to keep the project and retainer-based services, but this is how you break it down. Again, in expanding your physical capacities, it's important that as you're bringing on your team, you are not breaking down and losing your profit margins as well, because at the end of the day, this is what it's about, running a business. It's not the revenues that you're bringing, but actually the profits at the end that you get to keep and put into your pocket, and reinvest in your business naturally. So what I want you to sit with and be with and examine and look from very different angles is, first and foremost, who are people on your team? Who are the best people that you can bring on your team? And how can you provide the environment where they are fully supported, fully appreciated, and fully valued? Meaning that just like you are not signing up clients who want you to discount your own expertise, you want to make sure that the team you're bringing on is fully engaged and at the space of providing top of the top services, which means that you will be paying them full rate. On top of that, you will factor in your time as a CEO, time as a business owner, that is going to take you to communicate with the client, that's going to take you to communicate and manage your team, or have ongoing conversation with the person who will be managing your team. And factor that in. On top of that, you're going to add in a buffer that will allow you some flexibility in case some project or some client needs a little extra time or a little extra work to be done, that you have this wiggling room. And that is gonna now be the base for the fees that you are gonna be applying to the project and retainer. So in this particular fee, like I said, it's the margin, it's the full rate of your team, it's your time and the buffer. So those 4 elements get factored into the fee that is a base for the retainer or project base that you're now providing to your clients. Like I said, this is one of the conversations and one of the questions that I get asked again when we're proposing this and when we're discussing this as a possibility is, again, this resistance. But how am I going to find a client who will pay this much? Or, well, I have a clientele right now who is accustomed to pay bare minimum for the services, and I'm really burning out and I'm competing at the fee. Well, the thing is that you can compete either with the quality of services that you're providing, or you can compete for the lowest fee. But only one is finite, and that is competing for the lowest fee, because at one point you can go any lower, but there's always going to be somebody else who will go lower. And at the end, if you want to compete and you want to play the game, you'll be working at a cost. And it's not just the financial cost. It's not just operating at sub-zero in terms of profits. It costs you time, it costs you energy, it costs you your mental space, and all of that is this capacity that I'm talking about in expanding capacity. Typically, when we're talking through, if you're listening to my videos and if you're following me, you know that I'm big advocate for expanding the capacities in order to create more and to receive more. And those are not just the physical capacity in terms of having more time and time freedom, or having more resources in terms of finances, but especially mental capacity, emotional capacity, spiritual capacity, right? So the reason why it's such an important conversation to be had, and why is it so important to be mindful of the resistance that is coming up, is that in order to expand those capacities, we need to know where our parameters are and how to break through those limitations. So as I was sharing those 2 strategies with you, again, I invite you to be really mindful of what is coming up for you. What are those beliefs and what are the convictions and what are the perceptions that make you believe and have you convinced that this is not for you, that you could not possibly pull this off, that you could not possibly find a client who is going to pay you that much, who is going to agree to the services. Because if we could do it many years ago, and if our clients are doing it right now, so can you. And if you're just looking around in some more practical and tangible terms, perhaps for you, you have people who are driving around in Toyotas, and you have people who are driving around in Maseratis. You have people who are flying around in economy class, and you have people who are flying in private jets. You have Staples who's selling, I don't know, a huge box of paper clips for, I don't know, $10. And you have Tiffany's who's selling one for what it was like $1,500 for paper clip. There's always a market. At the end of the day, it comes to your conviction that you can do it, seeing yourself as if it's already done, which is really the inner work that we get to do in parallel with shifting and upgrading and streamlining the strategic parts. And also seeing the value that you provide immediate value, immediate ROI, as well as the infinitive ROI and lifetime value for your clients with your services, with your expertise. So if you have any questions, please do let me know. I would love to sit down with you and see where you are, where you're going, and what are some of the shifts that we can help you put in place. Because at the end of the day, times are changing. The world is changing, and it's on us to start creating our new reality, to shift the paradigms and get out of the boxes of even the industry standards. Because the way that we are going and the businesses that are going to be successful and sustainable on a multitude of levels, businesses who are going to be driving the change, businesses that are going to be supporting not just the business owner like yourself, but make the impact on your teams, make the impact on community. It's time to think bigger. It's time to think different. And it really starts with shifts like these two that I just mentioned, and start building the momentum and get the ball rolling. Because for as long as you're sitting back and are convinced that this is not for you, that you cannot possibly pull it off because you just simply, perhaps you cannot see it because we need to, you know, wipe off the lens through which you're seeing, or because of some past experiences. As long as you're hiding behind those convictions, and as long as you're hiding behind busy work of trying to do everything on your own and stressing out and then feeling guilty for being so stressed out and so busy, you cannot really go out and do what you are meant to do. Do and make the impact that you're called to do. And you know exactly, you feel it in your heart, you feel it in your gut, you feel it on the soul's level. So it really is time for you to step it up and step forward and break through those self-imposed glass ceilings and break through the standards that somebody else in industry has set in place. When you are called that this is your time, that this is your calling, and this is your way of serving, you will create a new way of serving that is going to attract the exact clientele that you are meant to serve. Right now, they're out there trying to find you, and they can't because you're just blending in with everybody else. It's time to step up.